Hello and welcome to another Wargame Airland Battle video, and today I'm showing you my Red Dragon deck. Red Dragon, the namesake, is a deck of Chinese and North Korean coalitions. I'm going to show you my deck, show you a few of the other units, but mainly it's to show you this deck, and then I'm going to post a couple of videos using this deck. So I've got a fob, of course. You can have a North Korean or a Chinese fob, just don't know why I chose a North Korean one. And I've got a couple of command infantry groups. Now I'm really liking these in the game, these command infantry. They're so flexible, you can use them for all sorts of things, and I've got two sets of them in this deck. The first ones I've got are in these BTRs, and I've chosen these BTRs because they're a little bit more expensive than the other armoured vehicles, but they are amphibious. So again, give you that little bit more flexibility if you need to take a command unit across a river on any of the maps. So none of the other North Korean and none of the Chinese armoured vehicles are able to do that. Now I've also got, and because this is a coalition deck, you can get two of these infantry HQ units. I've gone for another HQ unit in an Mi-8T with a rocket pod that can shoot infantry and small, basically lightly armoured vehicles as well. It can shoot at anything but and stun it as well, I suppose. In case you want to zip these around anywhere on the map quite rapidly. Now the logistics has changed just yesterday, and now, as well as fobs supplying choppers and fobs supplying trucks, choppers can now supply trucks as well. So you've got this this hierarchy in the logistics tree now. Also, large choppers can resupply small choppers, and large trucks can resupply small trucks. So it's all changed, and it's going to be a really good change, especially on those maps where the reinforcement zones are set quite a long way from the front line, so you can have sort of a logistics setup, especially in the longer game, so that your front lines are continually supplied with ammunition, and you can repair your units a little bit faster as long as you're set up for it. So I've got a big chopper for logistics, and also a little cargo truck. It's not the best truck in the world, it's only got 5 strength, but you've either got to have, basically there's only 2 trucks, a Chinese one and the North Korean one. They're both very similar. This one's slightly faster on the road, which is why, slightly faster speed, which is why I got this one for the same price, but not a great deal of choice in trucks for this deck. But I think that's a nice sort of logistics setup there for the Red Dragons. Infantry wise, I've gone for one set of man pads. I've gone for the best one basically, which is these Chinese QW1s and Mi-8Ts with rocket pods again. Try to get rocket pods where you can over and above machine guns, because rocket pods can attack a wider range of stuff than a machine gun. I've got these. They've got the best stats. You don't get as many. I get set of 10 of these, but they're pretty decent range against helicopters, good range against airplanes, nice accuracy, and an HE power of 5. A couple of these hit anything, they're going to destroy it. The others are cheaper. You get more of them, but they're not as accurate. They're not as powerful. They've not got as good a range. So you could go for something a bit cheaper, but you lose out in other areas. Anti-tank wise, they haven't got a great deal anti-tank wise, and I've gone for these band tank faggots because they have the longest range at 2,450. They've not got the best AP power at only 13, but you can, if I put them in sets of 2, they might manage to take out any sort of medium tanks, light armoured. Heavy tanks they're going to struggle against before they get taken out, so they're not the best. They only cost 10. They're probably going to be there more as a deterrent than anything else. You've also got some other anti-tank units which are quite new to the game, if I can find them. Here he says. Are these them? No, they're flamers. Can't even see them now. Oh, here we are down here. These strange Tankei chassis, these are quite new, and they've got a range of like 1,225. There's been quite a lot of the sort of Asian type decks. They've not got the best AP power. They don't look too brilliant to me. although the later ones have got a slightly better AP power of 16. I've gone to avoid these, even though these ones are a prototype. I've tended to avoid these at the moment. I might try them later on, but I've gone for the faggots for my anti-tank infantry. Basic infantry, I've gone for these Bokonjus. Now I've got these. They are a basic infantry. They can do most things. You know, they can attack buildings, whole buildings, tree lines, stuff like that. They're not the best infantry in the world, but I get a lot of them, and I get them in these VTT 323 Strelas. And these are why I've got these units, because you can bring these in, especially at the start of a game when you want something a little bit flexible because you don't know what the enemy is going to bring in. And they've got 3 Malayutka missiles, not the best in the world, but with a range of 2,450 and AP power 13. They're going to put a dent in most armoured trucks. They've got also cannon for shooting at helicopters and range at infantry as well. And they've also got 4 Strela 2M missiles with a range against helicopters of 2,450. And you get all this for only 25 points. I think that's pretty damn good. Now, they used to have 16 Strela missiles, and they did used to be OP. In the recent patch, they've taken it down to 4, which is probably a good thing, but they're still worth bringing in, I reckon. And they're going to do a great job at the start of a game. Next, I've got some sort of Stormtroopers, these Lijian 90s. Got napalm rounds, so I'm hoping they're going to be a little bit sort of Spetsnaz-like, Spetsnaz-esque. That's a new word I've made up. In forests and in towns and stuff like that, and going to complement these Bochongjus. So next, support. I've gone for some rocket artillery. Of course, artillery is proving to be much more important in this game than in airland battle. It's gone back to the old European escalation ways it did a little bit. I've gone for these BM-24s. Gone for these. They've got an okay dispersion, decent-ish range, good HE power, and fire relatively quickly. I could have gone for the BM-71s, which cost 30 more. They've got more rounds, but they're not quite as powerful, so there's a bit of a toss-up. I mean, they fire more than three times as many rockets, actually. So, I'm not sure. I think I'll stick to the BM-24s and see how they go. Yeah, for now, I think. I've also got some howitzer type artillery. Now this thing looks really powerful. It's got a really long range, so you can leave it all the way back in your home base, and it's got a really tight dispersion. So this thing will be used for sort of taking out specific targets, anti-air, lone units in tree lines, reconnaissance, infantry in specific buildings. It's got a really nice tight dispersion. Won't be used a lot, but will be used for pinning down certain targets, of course. And I can bring 7 of these in, so although they probably take quite a long time to reload, I can sort of, you know, bring a few of the guys in. Anti-air wise, I've got these HQ7s. I'm quite liking the look of these. Now they've only got 4 missiles, which are going to be used up quite quickly, so they're going to need resupply, but they've got a really nice range against helicopters of 3,325 and an okay range against choppers. Sorry, against aeroplanes of 2,625. They cost 60, but they're not radar, so you don't have to worry about seed aircraft, so you don't have to leave them back too far behind the lines. Now I've also got some flak, these PGZ-80s. Now I've decided to try where I can to bring in flak into most of my decks because of spamming of choppers. There's a lot of spamming of choppers going on at the moment in the game, so I figured bring some cheap flak along, and you can bring in, it's so cheap you can bring a few of them in. I can get 20 of these. You can get more expensive flak, but then it sort of defeats the object of having flak everywhere, so you want cheap flak all over the place to prevent them spamming choppers at you. And they've got a good range against choppers of 2,800. They're quite cheap as well. Now I've also got these S125 Nevers. These are more expensive. They're 80 points to bring in, but they've got a really nice range of 4,550 against airplanes. So these are going to be your main anti-aircraft unit. You need to set them back a little bit from the front lines because they are radar guided and can get targeted by seed aircraft. But if you've got these in the front and these HQ7s these at the back and these HQ7s at the front with some PGZ spread around, you should be okay, I reckon. And that's the plan. That's the plan anyway. Great plans. They do fail, but hopefully this one won't. Tanks. got okay tanks, not the best selection. They have of course got the T90S, pretty awesome tank. It's got a really strong front armour and an okay sort of side, back and top armour. A powerful gun with an AP power of 22. It's not the best, it's not as good as people are ranting about, but it's an okay, decent heavy tank. Only get 2 of them. Not the best tank. It is a T72 upgrade rather than a T80 upgrade, but I've got it because it does seem to sort of produce panic in the enemy if you bring it out. Now the second best tank they've got, which cost 125 to bring in, are these ZTZ 85-3s. Again, okay, sort of medium to heavy tank. I suppose a medium tank really, but the cost, it should be a heavy tank. 2,220 for 75 range, so comparable to most other heavy Blue 4 Blue 4 tanks, with a good accuracy, and it's got a stabilizer as well, so it can fire on the move, and a very good AP power of 21. So I got 2 sets of them because they're the second best tank. Now I also got some of these ZTS 63-2s. I got these because they've got anti-tank gun missiles. 3 of these guys with a range of 2,625, but they will need a bit of protection. They're not very well armoured at all, so they need to sit behind some better armoured tanks in order to get some protection, but I bought them in as well. So they're my tanks. Recon. I've got a cheap Recon chopper. Normally I go for the more expensive armoured ones so you can snipe stuff, but this time I've gone for a cheap throwaway MI2, not too fast, just for keeping an eye on things and what's going on. They have got some better choppers that are more expensive, but I bought this in. If someone, if the enemy Blue 4 want to throw away a nice aeroplane attacking them, then when I've got my nice anti-air coverage set up, then they're welcome. I've also got some infantry, basic infantry recon here, a little squad of 5. These are for the front lines really. Bring them up in the armoured vehicle here, and you can use the armoured vehicle for other things as well. It's got a little auto cannon, and quite a nice little auto cannon there. And put these on the front lines just to keep a spy on the enemy, see if there's anything coming, or to spy out any anti-air and stuff like that. And I've also got these Young Chalades, and these are more for behind enemy lines. There's only 2 of these guys in a chopper, an MI4, and these are for sort of just going behind enemy lines, seeing what's going on. They've got an RPG as well, so with a bit of AP power they can take on most things, apart from aircraft and helicopters of course. Finally, I've got a tank recon. I don't normally go for tank recons or armoured recons really as a general rule, but I bought this in. I had a spare slot, so I thought I'd bring this in to support any tank pushes that I might make, although my tanks aren't the best tanks in the world, but you never know. You never know. They might bring a spam deck in and this guy could do them some damage. Vehicles. Now, this deck has got a duel at the moment. I hope they don't nerf it too much because this deck hasn't got a lot of duels, but this is a duel, and this is the ZLF92, and I can't wait to try this guy out. It's not that well armoured, so you've got to keep it safe, but if you can keep this thing safe, look at the statistics. Range 2,975, accuracy 70%, AP power 26. Brilliant. And it's got good autonomy and good road speed and off-road speed as well. This thing looks pretty damned awesome, and I can't wait to test this thing out in the game. I've also got some other things, but these are more support and supplementary. ZSUs, supplements of, you can help a lot of infantry in towns and tree lines and support the anti-air with these things. Same with these PGZs. Again, supporting infantry in towns and stuff like that, and trees, and helping with the couple of autocannons to help with the anti-air defences as well. Helicopters. I've got 3 helicopters and they've all got different roles. If we start off with this one, 85 points to Z9A TY90. This is my anti-air unit, and it's got a decent range against helicopters. In fact, a very good range against helicopters and a good range against airplanes as well. Good accuracy and a good HE power of 6. So this looks quite awesome actually, this unit, and it'd be nice to try this guy out. Got some Mi-24s. These are my all-rounders, so they can fight against lightly armoured vehicles and medium tanks. Got a rocket pod, and they've got a minigun as well, so can do a bit of everything, and they're fast, so it might be worth bringing them in sort of in an emergency or at the beginning of a game if you're not sure what to expect from the enemy, etc. Then I've got some Z9A HJ8s, and this is my anti-tank weapon really. Nice long range of 2800 and good nice AP power 24 and an OK actually of 50%, and only 4 missiles, but yeah, 84 and 5 points is quite a lot. Only got specific uses, especially you need to bring it in, make sure there's no anti-air around, especially at 85 points. Finally, the aircraft. They've got a nice selection of aircraft, but I haven't gone into looking at the aircraft in too much detail in making this deck. They've got a bit of everything. They've got napalm, they've got anti-tank, they've got a seed aircraft even. I've just gone for air superiority here. Medium sort of fighter, the MiG 23ML. It's got 2 long-range Vimpel missiles. It's got some short-range missiles for dogfighting, and it's got a cannon, but it only costs 95 for a nice air superiority fighter, and I've got 6 of them. So at some point, hopefully on one of the maps, I'm going to get all these guys out and we can dominate the skies and stop them bringing in any bombers, especially if they've got a big sort of USA deck with all those bombs and stealth aircraft and stuff. So that's to combat that sort of thing. So that is my Red Dragon video with North Korea and China fighting as one. So I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. I'm going to play this deck for a few games and post a couple of games up. Please do comment, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.